invite Mr. Azhar Zia-ur-Rehman on the stage for his talk, please.
Maturity assessment. So this is not the first time ever anywhere in the world that somebody is talking about on this subject. Before I go into the details of that subject, it's probably a coincidence that Dr. Irfan and I belong to the same school. In that school, that's probably the only one of the very few schools in the world where AI is being taught from class 1. And robotics is being taught from class 1. We established labs for AI and robotics in the school. If you happen to visit Islamabad, you can visit that school in G63. Last week we had a big session in the school where we brought people from our old students from Bangladesh, and we had a very good friendship function with Bangladesh. So talking about AI ethics, when we introduced AI ethics in the school and in the university, the problem is, when we introduced AI, the problem is what about the ethics of AI? AI is a very difficult area to manage ethics of. What I'll be talking will be from two of my books. The book here was came out in May last year, and it is the practicals of transformation, not digital transformation, but transformation. Digital transformation is something very simple, something very small. It's a very small part of transformation. In this, I've got the complete methodology and framework for transformation, which has been proven over my 46 years of practical experience. I've implemented those methodologies in many large organizations worldwide. Another book on AI ethics was released just 4 days ago. I still don't have a hard copy of it, and that is about how you measure the maturity of AI ethics for an organization or for a system. Two organizations may claim to be very ethical. Are they ethical? If they are ethical, how ethical are they on a scale of 0 to 5? So that's what I've done in this book. This is an 840-page book, very detailed. If you have that book, you don't need me. You can just practice what is written in that. So this is a little about the subject. Why ethics matters. See, every technology, right from the caveman, when the caveman invented the hammer, the stone hammer, there were ethics about it. Should he use the hammer to kill somebody or to kill an animal or to create his tools? So ethics has been there with technology always. Now, with AI, the ethics is much bigger, is much more serious, and therefore we have to consider the ethics of AI. The problem with ethics, with AI ethics, is that if you don't have proper AI ethics, it may create big problems with your bank account, with your admission to your university, with your jobs or whatever. So AI ethics, since AI is coming into every field, the ethics of AI will affect every aspect of our lives. So you must design AI ethics into a system that uses AI. How do you do that? Is there a way of quantifying AI ethics? How can AI ethics is something not very concrete. So how can you define AI ethics and how can you quantify it? That was a challenge that I took up about 6 months ago. It took me about 6-7 months to write this book. And I call it ethics. And it's a framework for quantifying AI ethics. How does it work? Okay. Now, to quantify that, we must have some framework for AI ethics. This is the framework that I've defined. It's got two parts. One part is within the organization, and the other part is around the organization, in the outside of the organization. And both of them have got 5 layers. Start from the bottom. The first line of organization, the first line of ethics is by the individual himself. The individual has to observe AI ethics. The second line is the management. The third line is audit. The fourth line is the executive of the organization. The fifth line is the governing body. So these are the 5 levels of 5 levels at which AI ethics has to be defined and observed. Now, if you come to the outside of the organization, we've got the professional and industrial bodies like IEEEP. Has IEEEP or will it ever lay down the ethics, the AI ethics for its industry? The second line is the government. Does the government have laws for AI ethics? The third line is international control. Last year in March, the UN came up with a resolution on AI ethics, and that triggered a wave of laws. The next law, which came out later in March last year, was the AI Act of the European Union. After that, every country, every state of the USA is coming up with its own laws on AI ethics. That was the trigger. So the next one is the UN obligations, and the last one is virtue-based considerations. I use the word virtue because if I write Islam, people will get put off. So what we're doing is we've got an international team working internationally with experts from a lot of countries who are working on the Islamic aspects of AI ethics. So what we're doing is that we've defined certain books, certain tafasir and certain books on hadith, and from those we are deriving what are the principles of AI ethics that come from Islam. So these are the 10 levels of AI ethics. Now, this is the process accessible model. What do you go through to measure AI ethics? If you see here, we've got elements of AI ethics, then we've got factors of the elements of AI ethics, and then we've got activities of AI ethics, then we've got KPIs. To measure the activities, we've got a complete process, and this process is completely based on ISO 33002 set of standards. So this is the process that I've designed, and I've defined this whole process in my book. Okay. Now I have talked about the elements of AI ethics. There are 10 elements of AI ethics, and these 10 elements cover everything that any country in the world has ever defined in terms of AI ethics. So there are 10 elements of AI ethics. But since they are very broad, you cannot use these 10 elements to assess an organization or assess a system. So we have to dig a little deeper. When we dig a little deeper, we break up these 10 elements of AI ethics into 150 factors of AI ethics. So we've got 150 factors on which we can assess an organization or a system. But again, 150 factors are not enough. You need more detail, that exactly where there's an ethical problem in an organization, or exactly where an AI system has got problems. So we break down these 150 factors of AI ethics into 1,941 activities of AI ethics. Now these are very detailed activities of AI ethics. So each activity can be assessed how? As defined by ISO 33002. So and ISO 33002 has got about 60 questions for each activity. So you multiply 60 by 2000, so that's a very big number. So you've got to do those many assessments to come up with a score of 0 to 5 for one area of AI ethics. And you get a score of that. For example, if you want to select a bank, should I go to this bank or this bank because of its AI ethics? You know that this bank is good in this area, but this bank is good in a different area. So you can select what are the priorities, and you can select the bank accordingly. Okay. Now each activity of so far 1,941 were generic activities. How do you customize this for your organization? Because every organization is different. So that is the next level, that each activity has KPIs, and that's where you can customize this framework for your organization. That you can define KPIs that suit your organization, and that's how it becomes your framework. Now the question is, how do we use this? What I've been doing for the last 1 year, the concept of digital transformation is gone. Now the question that we have in organizations is, how do we adopt AI? AI adopt or karni hai. There's no question that you have to adopt AI. The question is how and when. So what I'm doing for the last 1.5 years is helping organizations adopt AI. I've done it for 2 organizations, one gas company in Oman and one university in UAE. I've helped them adopt AI. That was a very interesting process. Within the next 2 or 3 months, I'll be working with 2 universities in Pakistan and 3 organizations in the Gulf to help them adopt AI. How do we do that? The first principle is self-reliance in Pakistan. We don't need any Gora consultants. We don't need this KPMG and the Ernst & Young and all those fraud companies which charge too much money for nothing. We have our universities, we have our excellent professors, we've got our students. They can do much better than these big 4. So first principle is self-reliance, no foreign consultants, no foreign companies. Second, automate corporate governance using AI. I can challenge, there is no company in Pakistan that has automated its corporate governance. There is no company in Pakistan that has got good corporate governance, including some very famous ones. So you must automate your corporate governance using AI. And that is a big challenge. That's a big challenge because the CEO doesn't like that. The CEO will always sabotage this. But the chairman and the board should stress for it. And the board and the chairman should say that we want to automate corporate governance. That's the second step. The third thing is that you must define your business architecture. What are you doing? What is your business? You must formulate your business architecture and define it. There's a standard for it, there's a framework for it, and that's called TOGA, which is not taught anywhere in Pakistan. And that's a big tragedy. The fourth step is do an AI impact analysis. That if and when you introduce AI in your organization, how will it impact different activities? You list down the activities that you've already done in formalizing the business architecture. So each activity in your business, you have to do the impact analysis. That if we do or do not introduce AI in that activity, what will happen? So by doing this, you will be able to list down the risks of introducing or not introducing AI. Having done that, then you will have to update your enterprise risk management. Most companies in Pakistan, mashallah, don't have enterprise risk management. So you must have enterprise risk management, and you have to add the aspect of AI into the enterprise risk management. And by doing this, you will get a new risk register. So that new risk register will tell you where will your AI risk stand as compared to the other risks. The next will be update your business continuity management. That what happens if your dependence on AI becomes too much, and then suddenly AI fails and your whole business will collapse. So how will you continue your business if AI fails, if AI collapses? Based on all these 6 activities, you have to prioritize the activities that you, for example, if you're in a university, what activity in the university, or if you're in a manufacturing concern, what activity in the manufacturing concern do you want to automate first? And then you go to the adoption roadmap. Is my time over or what?
5 minutes left.
Okay. Now this is the methodology for transformation. This is from my book which came out last year. And this is a complete methodology defined in about 125 pages. Each step of that, what documents you have to create, how do you create each document. And this is called digiformation. Digiformation is digital transformation for the 4th industrial revolution. Unfortunately, Pakistan Engineering Council doesn't know what 4th industrial revolution is. They've done nothing about the 4th industrial revolution because it is too much civil engineer oriented. And that's a tragedy. I was advisor to Dr. Alvi as president for 5 years. He sent me to the Secretary of Ministry of Industries. I don't know what his name was, but that bugger did not know what 4th industrial revolution is. all he could do would be for 20 minutes that देखो मेरे कमरे का view कितना अच्छा है. So that's the state of affairs of in Pakistan. No further industrial revolution, unfortunately. Now that was the methodology. This is the framework. कि कौन से processes आपकी organization में हैं जिनको आपने transform करना है. So this is the framework. It's also my framework. It's got more than 100 different systems and processes. And in my book, I've given the details of each one of them and which standards and best practices you have to follow to automate or to bring AI into each one of them. So this is what I have to say. If you have any questions, probably you have the questions later on. Is that right? Okay, thank you very much.